Greetings, welcome, and good day. You are now tuned into the 4th episode of the Seasoned Vet Podcast. I'm so happy you could make it to another chapter of this show. This week, we're joined by a young lady who turned down a full track and field scholarship to enlist in the U.S. Coast Guard. So instead of jumping track hurdles, she's jumping bureaucratic ones. Thanks to her mother, she's also a former Army Brat turned shooting star IT. Shortly after arriving to her first duty station, and even after arriving to her second one, she noticed that members of her chain of command could not stop critiquing her appearance. That's why I've titled this episode, Why You So Obsessed With Me? Friend!
Hello.
Hello! How are you?
Whew. I'm a lot of things.
Well, you look great, you look hydrated, and whatever you might be going through, you don't look like you're going through it. So
Thank you.
Right,
Thank you.
Good for you. Good for you. So, friend, what is your connection to the service?
I am a IT3 in the U.S. Coast Guard.
Whoop whoop.
Whoop whoop. Go Coast Guard. Been in for about 3 years.
All right.
Had up and down experiences within those 3 years.
Mm-hmm. You've been in 3 years. You're in the Coast Guard. Did you grow up around any veterans? Were you exposed to any military personnel when you were growing up?
So I have veterans in my family. Mm-hmm. However, they're go Army, fuck the Navy. They're Army and Marine Corps. My mom, she's actually a veteran in the Army.
Right
from the Army. One or the other.
She's an Army veteran.
Exactly.
Right on. Right on. You come from a military family, and that's pretty typical with military personnel. Like, usually you have to be exposed to it to know it exists and want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
All right. So, was the Coast Guard your first choice?
No. The Coast Guard was not my first choice. My first choice was the Air Force.
Come on. All right. You said you was go blue no matter who.
Exactly. See, I like picking and choosing what I can do. And the Air Force just didn't let me do it. They tried to force me the mechanical aptitude.
Yeah.
No, thank you. I am not going to turn wrenches. No more. None of that.
I feel you. So how do you feel about your time in uniform so far? Does any particular time period stand out to you?
So my time in uniform, like I said earlier, it's been a lot of ups and downs. Mm-hmm. A point that stood out to me the most was the initial first 6 months after boot camp, being at my first unit. And that's because I didn't like my first unit, just based off of what was told to me, what I've experienced, and, the people there. There were some, outliers who were awesome, who encouraged me to continue to do what I was doing. Mm-hmm. But it's hard to say because there's been more downs than ups for my career.
I'm very sorry to hear that.
It's okay.
You come off as a very, I'm going to get it done no matter what type of person.
Oh, for sure. You have to. Sometimes it's in the best interest for yourself to do things yourself than reach out to others.
I hear you. What do you think could have made your experience better? What could have improved your experience so far?
More representation.
Okay. Elaborate. What kind of representation?
More representation of African American men and women in the Coast Guard. I feel like that's like a big issue. Mm-hmm. That the Coast Guard needs to address head on, and hopefully with the new admiral we have, hopefully we see some more changes regarding retention, not only black men and women, but also retention for the entire Coast Guard. I'm not sure if that even combined, worked with what you were saying, but I feel
you would like more representation, more people that you can relate to.
That's honestly it. More people I can relate to, because sometimes if you can't relate to someone, you feel trapped. You don't have anyone with you. You can't talk to anyone. You don't feel comfortable talking to anyone, and it makes situations awkward.
It does. Look, if you can't relate to them, then they probably cannot relate to you either. So
exactly,
y'all can make each other. It can make for an awkward situation a lot of times.
Yeah,
awkward being on the nice side of what can happen.
Yeah.
Let me transition into another question based on your previous answer. Right now, recruitment and retention is down in all branches of the military and with all demographics. Black women are not excluded from that. This was true even before the pandemic. Why do you think black women are so disinterested in joining the military?
Just based off of what other African American veterans have gone through. Mm-hmm. For women, for example, my mom was actually assaulted while overseas.
Wow.
She told me about, her experiences over there while being in the Army. It's passed down from generation to generation, what people's views are on women joining the military. Majority of the time, families want their daughters to go to college, get a college education so they could get a higher paying job. But getting a higher paying job doesn't always equal getting respect.
Right.
And I feel like that's also an issue in the Coast Guard.
Right.
We don't get respect. They always want to think of us as the angry black woman. Every time I could be talking to someone, basic conversation, and I already know, just based off of how they're talking to me, the tone, the manner, the gestures, is they're talking to me in an aggressive tone because they think I'm aggressive. And it could be, I'm from Atlanta on the East Coast, you know how we are on the East Coast compared to the West Coast. It's like different feng shui, different vibes.
Come on, ACL.
Exactly. But I think it's respect. Respect goes a long way. African American women do not get as much respect as other women in the Coast Guard or in the military in general.
Facts. Yeah. Nail on the head. Tell me about a time you experienced something either good or bad, and it was because of your race and gender.
So I learned a lifelong lesson. Sometimes you have to get stuff done yourself. You can't always depend on everyone, because me being African American, this was an instance at my last unit. I'd ask for help and no one would want to help me. Not only because I was a woman, 9 times out of 10, I believe it is because I was African American. My shop was not very cultured, if that makes any sense.
You're a minority. Yeah.
Yeah. So there wasn't many black people to begin with in the entire shop.
Right.
So
would you say that you were one of one?
Yeah, I most definitely was one of one.
All right, so the time that you experienced something good or bad, it was because of your race. It sounds like your answer was this was bad, and it's because your race and gender is African American woman. So the bad thing is that you were minority, that you were one of one, the only one.
It was more like great example, being targeted.
Okay.
So everyone would come into the shop. I'd come into the shop. Someone was late the other day. I'd get blamed for the person being late.
Wow.
They could give every excuse in the book.
Wow.
And it's okay. It's fine.
You got blamed for someone else being late?
Oh, for sure.
Are you serious?
I got an ROC for telling my first that I was having some difficulties because my apartment flooded, my phone died.
Wow.
And you want to know what my chief said?
What did the chief say?
Why didn't you go to 7-Eleven to charge your phone?
Excuse me, ma'am? What?
Excuse me?
Get out
It
of
was
here.
12 o'clock in the morning. Do you think I'm going to go in the dead-ass night?
A woman by yourself going in the middle of the night. And here's the thing. I know the last unit you're in. I know the department that you're talking about. You got blamed for someone else being late. And you were literally the youngest person there.
Exactly. I was the youngest person there.
The youngest in age and the youngest in rank. The freshest out of boot camp. And
exactly.
You got blamed for the actions of an actual adult.
Mm-hmm. And the only one who could hold that position there.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Nice. Have you ever complained to your chain of command? And if so, did you feel like you were heard?
I have multiple times.
Okay.
Did I feel like I was heard? Partially.
Okay.
It was more on the lines as there was an incident with me wearing false lashes.
Oh God, I know this one. Go ahead.
Yeah, the juicy tea. And they weren't false lashes, they were individuals.
Okay.
And I did them myself and they were natural. Mm-hmm. They looked like my eyes with mascara on. And I didn't like wearing mascara because it always make my eyes water and itch, and it made me uncomfortable because I was sweating all the time. I was doing hard work.
For our audience out there, the person is a dress up and come to work type person. Wears makeup, does the hair, does the all of that.
The whole nine.
All of that.
The whole nine.
The rest of us are very comfortable with coming to work in our bare faces. She is a go-getter. Go ahead.
You never know who you're going to meet.
Sure.
What can I say? But I showed up one day at a holiday party. We also got authorized to leave early, like a day before, so we could get ready for it.
Right.
So that was my preparation. The holiday party, we were off.
Yeah.
I showed up with my lashes on. They aren't a full set. They literally look like Ardell wispy lashes. Like real short, real thin, look like my regular lashes. So I wore them. And the weekend rolls around, and then I come to work on like a Monday, and I still have them in because they're basically super glued to my eyelashes.
Girl.
So if I were to take them off, I'd have to get the, the cream and the Q-tip and put on my eye and let it sit there. And so I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to just wear it because. And before that, I looked at the regulation. There was no regulation.
There's no eyelash regulation.
None whatsoever.
You're right. There is none.
None.
There's no rules about that shit.
No length rules, nothing. Your makeup just has to look natural, which mine does.
Right.
And so I get pulled to the side that same day, and it was from my warrant, and he talks to me talking about my eyelashes, this, that, and the third. And I remind him kindly that I wore these previously at the holiday party. No one said anything to me.
Yeah.
Everything on my face, my caked up face, was natural.
Okay.
My face beat to the gods.
Dear.
And so it
was beat to the natural gods, dude.
Beat to the natural gods. It wasn't really cakey, flawless skin, glowing dewy face. Sorry about that.
Dewy. Yeah. Hey,
same thing.
I think both of those work. Yeah.
Glazed donut highlight and everything. So it was a day after. I still had them in after my warrant asked me about them. From the encounter, I didn't think he wanted me to take them off that same day. So, because he didn't make it known. He just asked me about them when I got them done, this, that, and the third. And I told him. And so the following day, I get called to my chief. She tells me to wait inside the room I was at. I was working in the mailroom. I was giving these people letters and stuff.
Working.
With the door closed, so no one ever saw me.
Doing your job.
Minding my business. So she calls me, tells me she's coming down there. She comes down there and starts talking about my lashes, this, that, and the third. And so I'm like, okay. In the back of my head, I was like, I'm not following.
You're not breaking any rules.
Yeah, I'm not breaking any rules.
Yeah.
So I don't see how it's a
There's no
problem.
instruction on eyelashes, so there's no real reason for you to keep getting these little chats being pulled to the side.
Yeah.
Over rules that don't exist.
Exactly.
Because at this point, it's just somebody's preference, and somebody's preference is not law.
Exactly. It does not state in the Coast Guard Commandant instruction.
Right.
Personal opinions matter. Sorry. Hate to be the breaker of bad news. That's not it. But
this lady was really concentrating on your face.
Really concentrating.
For y'all to not even... And by the way, for our listeners, this person and her chief did not work in the same room. So it feels like did she go out of her way to take a glance at you?
She sure did.
I was like, how the hell would she know what your face looks like on a day-to-day basis unless she's laying eyes on you? And she can only do that if she's going out of her way to do that.
Exactly.
Wow. All right.
She probably caught me walking to the exchange or something.
She's a fan.
Exactly. Fan status.
That's fan behavior.
But it turned out to be a bigger situation than what it was. Ending up, I actually reach out to the command master chief to hold a meeting about these eyelashes because they were threatening negative page 7s and stuff and just doing the most because they haven't seen a person like me. They haven't seen someone who actually will read the rules and regulations.
Get it.
And tell them the rules and regulations.
Yeah.
So they honestly didn't respect that I had my own voice.
Yeah.
And so that's why I went to the command master chief. And
was the command master chief a lady or a gentleman?
It was a woman.
It was the woman?
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's what I mean about I feel heard, but I don't.
Right.
I went in there,
Look, she had a set of ears, but she wasn't listening.
Exactly. She was just watching my lips move.
She's like, when is this meeting going to be over?
That's basically how it was. I went in there. She talked about the regulation. She mentioned that I'm in a public eye and other people who are coming
in the fucking mailroom.
Exactly. And other people who are trying to, become higher ranking petty officers, this, that, and the third.
You're the lowest ranking person.
That's what I was saying. Those people will graduate
Like,
a rank higher than me.
Girl, who the fuck was looking up to you and you didn't even have no rank?
Exactly. Who? And basically coming out of that talk, I shed my tears because I was very passionate about it. I hate to be told no. I actually was crying.
Did you cry your eyelashes out? I'm kidding.
I actually took them off. I did a whole big thing. I took a picture I took for the holiday party.
Yeah.
I printed out a picture and brought it of what the eyelashes look like. So you can say I kind of handed it to myself. I didn't think that was a petty thing.
Did you show that picture to your fans? the Command Master Chief and the Chief?
They saw it when I turned in my marks. I was that petty.
Good.
I submitted a full blown up photo. That's what the name is, right? Petty officer?
Look, petty officer. Heavy on the petty.
Yeah. But coming out of that conversation with the Command Master Chief, she heard me, but she...
Air quotes.
Heard.
Air quotes.
She heard me, but based off of the professional environment, that was not looked as being professional with having those eyelashes.
Okay.
Which is a whole different debacle on personal opinion.
Right, because right at this point, we are turning personal opinion into rules. And did you write an instruction on your little opinion?
Exactly.
You
did not.
All right. Yeah, I'm very familiar with the CMC you are speaking on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure everyone is.
I need to make an episode over that one.
The tea will be spilled.
It'll be the Boston Tea Party all over again. Okay, so far in your career, have you made friends with any other Black Lady Service members?
I have.
Okay, good. And do you keep in touch with them?
Partially.
Okay.
You know, a couple likes on Instagram, a couple snaps on Snapchat when their birthday pops up.
Good.
Yeah, every once in a while I hit up my little boot camp girlies group chat and just send a message.
Good. I'm glad to know that you have Black lady friends. That's pretty important to them and to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, so in the beginning of your career, and mind you, you are very young in rank, very young in your contract. So when I say the beginning of your career, I'm absolutely talking about right now. In the beginning of your career, when you needed guidance and mentorship, were those resources provided to you, or did you have to seek them out?
They actually weren't provided to me. I had to seek them out. Partially seek them out. One person who I want to give my round of applause to is you.
Get out of here, man.
You actually, I think you were in the office one day when I was talking about a situation, and then we all started talking about it. And you've been like a person I've been looking up to, and a person who I always felt I could go to you for help. But
she said, "Look up to." I'm 4 inches shorter than her. She meant it metaphorically, but it's as a short person. That's what I'm thinking. Look up.
Majority of the time, though, if I didn't have someone like you who actually reached out and made sure I was okay and stuff like that, I would have to reach out and find someone. That was even the case in A school too. Right. There was an issue. I didn't feel like I could reach out to anyone. And I reached out to one of my instructors, and she's mixed actually. Okay. So I felt comfortable talking to her about the situation and stuff like that. And I could tell when I told like my actual like class instructors, like the advisor of my class, I could easily tell they don't know what I'm talking about. They couldn't relate to it.
They spaced out.
Yeah, I felt more comfortable talking to her.
Right on. I'm so glad you have that.
But it gets hard having to sit there and reach out and find people.
It's tough. For
whatever whatever you need help with. Yeah. It's very difficult. Yeah. And I think it's unfair.
It's unfair that you are put in a position where you even
have to do that.
Yeah, you're right.
I shouldn't have to.
Right, because as a Black lady Coast Guardsman, everybody knows that you're kind of by yourself. So like, if they know that you're kind of by yourself, they shouldn't have to wait for you to ask for help.
Exactly.
Yeah. Some of these phone numbers and email addresses and people that can help you should just be provided for you. So as of right now, it feels like you don't have a lot of village.
No.
Okay, but we agree that a village would be important to important.
I feel like building a village would be important for, having a long career in the Coast Guard.
Right on.
If you're looking to do 4 and done, you still could have a village.
Yeah, you should still do it.
You should still do it. Mm-hmm. But I think if you have that village with you along the way in the Coast Guard where you can go to them, I feel like that would help you, be in the Coast Guard longer, because if there's any issue you have, you could go to them.
You have somebody to vent to,
exactly.
Talk to.
And sometimes they won't even use it against you. That's a big thing too.
Your village should never use it. They will not. If they're a village, they will
if
not
they're
be using
a village.
They are not using your words against you like that.
Yeah.
You recently ranked up. Do you feel that the way you have been treated has improved with your rank?
I just want to say not only no, but hell no. Rank don't mean nothing. What's that song that says age ain't nothing but a number? Pretty Willie? Rank ain't nothing but a number.
What song?
It ain't nothing but a number, baby.
I'm going to keep all this in, by the way.
Perfectly fine.
You thought I was going to... I'm not editing it.
Vocals are there.
Okay. You have a lot of confidence. I appreciate that. Keep thinking highly of yourself. You should do that. Yeah. Tell me a war story other than those trash-ass vocals. Tell me a war story where you were tested and you came out on top. A time where you won a battle that you were in, that you were forced to be in.
I just want to, state for the record, on the record, through all the trials and tribulations that I've been through. Mm-hmm. Amen. Mm-hmm. I made it. But to a war story, there's been, like I said earlier to you in our personal conversation, I've been through multiple war stories that didn't end in my favor, but I had to suck it up and just keep going. But one that really nails on the spot.
Come on.
That hyped me up afterwards.
Come on.
I was in A school.
All right.
There's no regulation, just want to put that out there. Mm-hmm. The old guard is no longer. I'm sorry. If you're still thinking that mentality back in 1957, you might as well get out. There's no need for you. There's it's a newer age.
Hey,
get with the program.
No offense to our black lady boomers.
No offense. But I dyed my hair blonde, platinum blonde.
Get out of here.
But it wasn't
come on, Cisco.
It wasn't like powder white. My baby hairs were powder white because, close to your scalp, the hotter your head, the more it develops.
Okay.
But my hair was platinum. I am not dark. I am not light. I'm that good, caramel cocoa brown. What could I say?
For our actual listeners, she is. If you didn't know that she was mixed, you would probably think that she was like a white Hispanic. IT3, I have said.
I got a little bit of tan on me. I've been going to the tanning salon.
To her face, I have said more than once that she is effectively a white woman. The only reason she is on this podcast right now is because she has one African American parent. She was raised by a black woman, and I'm even questioning if that's your actual mom.
Don't worry. When the summertime rolls around, I'm a little pasty right now because it's winter.
Y'all know how light-skinned people always want to claim to be darker than they are? She's one of them.
I kid you not. I have photos. I'm I turn like my stomach's dark. It's ashy. It's my stomach's not dark, but it's darker than what I would be if I was not tanning.
Hey, y'all know that part of me that is covered in uniform because it's supposed to be? That's the black part.
But also, I'm ashy. I did not throw on lotion before I left the house. I did not. I was too lazy.
Okay.
But
so know that I lied when I said you looked moisturized.
I was gonna, comment on that, but
way to call me out.
Let's just ride with it. I am moisturized. I can start a fire with that.
God. You should have seen the wavelengths. They were really big wave. She just put her hands in front of the microphone and did that little fire thingy. Do it again. That shit. And
I'm
it showed
ashy.
Up.
I am ashy. But
I'm sick of you.
But yeah, I bleached my hair.
Oh, that's where, yeah, your hair, okay.
I bleached my hair blonde.
Okay.
And I've had a conversation. I was kind of weary about bleaching my hair because a while back ago, the same person we're still talking about,
the chief
that is no longer in the United States Coast Guard, thank God.
The chief that couldn't take her eyes off of you.
Exactly. Could not. I guess I was the fan favorite. But I was told by her I cannot dye my hair blonde because of my skin complexion.
Okay.
Which you know.
Which is wild.
Yeah. Yeah. She had to ask her black friend to see what hair color would look good on black women.
Girl,
like, what?
she asked another black person if she could...
Exactly. I was like,
hey,
please.
Can I jump down the throat of this other black person? You as a black person, give me permission to shit on this black girl.
So with that in the back of my head, I got called out by a chief, a BMC, who was on the quarterdeck. This is an A school, so we have our watches. Okay. So... class was over, blah, blah, blah. I was going back to my barracks room. Mm-hmm. And he calls me out and he was like, oh, this is also the time when the regulation changed from where we had to wear our buns to ponytails, too. So this is like the second day that directive has been posted.
Okay.
So he was surprised about the ponytail being ponetailing, you know, length, giving luscious.
Whiffed.
And also being blonde.
IT3 also has a lot of hang time in her ponytail.
You know, what could I say?
It blows in the wind.
That jojoba oil is working real nice.
Get the hell out
of here. The blue magic. I grease my scalp.
You do what?
My hair is dry.
I didn't know you had enough texture for blue magic.
No. So my hair is so, I don't even know what I got going on, but all I know is, I don't like saying good hair, this, that, all hair is good. But
IT3's mother is an African-American woman, so this is why she knows about blue magic.
It was
If you were the other kind of mixed, you would be using like mousse.
Using some mixed chicks, that curling leave-in cream. See, that don't work on my hair. I can promise you that. I got the olive oil stuff in my hair. The perimeter of my head gets so like, I'm going to use the word, it's nappy. The perimeter, my kitchen nappy, the front nappy, like just the perimeter of my hair. When it gets closer to the middle, it's, it's curly. It's whatever.
Sure.
But it doesn't help when, you bleach your hair. And I would bleach my hair every 2 weeks to keep up. So no one had something to say about my blonde hair. Mm-hmm. This was all throughout A school. And it's a 6-month A school. So. Okay. Yeah. But he called me out on it. I was like, you know what? I'll just sit here for the ride just to listen to what he got to say to, make sure it's not, an EO complaint in the filing.
Come on.
So I sat there and listened to him. And then I was like, okay, I understand. I went back to my barracks room because, they're sometimes like a little iffy about you walking and texting on a phone. Mm-hmm. So I go to my barracks room. I pull up the rules for hair.
The Commandant instruction, the new instruction.
The M1800 TAC 2, whatever it is. I pulled that rule book up. I swiped so hard to get to the page. When I tell you I was heated, heart thumping. I was like, kept my cool, calm, cool, calm collective when I was with him. Because, I didn't want to be disrespectful. I didn't want to be painted as a angry black woman. Gotcha. So I was like, okay, whatever. Okay, I understand. Went down to my barracks room. I was swiping and scrolling. Found it. Okay. Pulled it up. Went back upstairs. That's where I had the balls. I went back upstairs. I said, Chief, I just wanted to show you the Commandant instruction for hair. It doesn't state that my hair has to complement my skin tone. And it doesn't state that I have to gradually bleach my hair until it is this color. Wow. That's the old guard mentality, because way back when, in 1947 or 1957, you couldn't go from black to blonde. You had to go black, brown, light brown, blonde.
I feel like that was never... This is
just old guard. That's the thing. Personal opinion.
It's my own personal. I have not read it. I just don't think that it was ever a rule that you had to gradually go from one color to the next.
It wasn't.
It was just like a preference of the people around you and above you.
Yeah, but it's also they didn't know how to do hair. That's why their hair had green highlights. Come on now,
get out of here.
Get with the program. You're talking to someone who knows how to do hair. And so
your hair is blonde.
Yeah, my hair's blonde.
And your baby hairs are white.
Yeah. It honestly could have matched like my skin if I didn't tone it, but I always toned it so it, looked pretty nice.
Also, blonde is once again a natural color.
A natural color.
And as long as your hair is a natural color, no one should really be saying too much to you.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it doesn't quote unquote go with your skin color. That does not matter. It is a natural hair color, and there are people who are...
Yeah, there are people my color with naturally blonde hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of my grandmas, she's about the same color as my mom. My mom's a little darker than you. And she has like that sandy brown blonde hair.
Yep.
When I was talking to him, I was explaining to him, it's not about skin color. It's not about, I was trying to be nice and inform him about it. Because he also messaged a YN out of all people, like, about it. And she was like, yeah, there's no problem with it. He was like, okay, yeah, I reached out to this YN too. I said, okay, here. Just gave him the stuff and talked to him. He was like, yeah, I understand. Thank you. I was like, no problem. Have a good one, Chief.
Did he keep talking to you about it afterwards? Or looking at you sideways?
Look at me sideways. But it's also because I was the baddest one up over there, period.
You got a lot of fans.
A lot of fans. Those people over there in A school loved them some of me. That's all I can say.
So he was finding a reason to talk to you. All right.
Exactly.
One of your fans found a reason to talk to you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I hope you don't keep in touch.
I do not. Once I graduated, I turned that stuff in. I said, peace. I ain't never got to see y'all a day in my life.
Tell me something you wish you had known before you joined the Coast Guard.
I wish I had known that you could also go into the Coast Guard with school debt.
Oh, wow.
You could.
Okay.
You could use the CGMA, I believe, or there's a whole bunch of stuff that you're able to, join even if you have like debt. The Coast Guard is willing to help you with that. And that's only going because initially I did not want to join any military branch. I kind of was a little forced by my mother to join the military. She didn't want me going to college, and I had a scholarship for track and field. She didn't want me going there because it was states away. I wouldn't have the funding from my mom. She wasn't going to pay for it. She ain't going to pay for shit for me.
So this was a partial scholarship or a full scholarship?
I had academic, and then my sports would cover the rest.
Oh, so this was a full scholarship?
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I wrote a good little entrance essay.
Good.
That's all I could say.
Good for you.
But
and, hold on. You said track and field. This is interesting. What event did you run? Come on.
So I did everything.
You did it. Oh, all right.
So field events, triple jump.
Get it.
100-meter hurdles, 300-meter hurdles, 4x4, 4x1.
God, a hurdler and a sprinter. Come on.
But before I did that, I also did I've done the heptathlon.
Get it. My goodness.
So I know a little high jump, a little javelin, a little shot put.
Sounds like you got a little endurance.
I did an 800 once in my life. Will I ever do it again? Hell no. Hell no.
All right. So there's no more track and field?
No more track and field, but I always had dreams of, doing the C-SPY program, going to like one of the HBCUs and running track and field there. I even talked to the Coast Guard Academy coach.
Come on.
And we were scheduling up something for me to head up there, and then COVID happened, and I was like, let me not respond to an email.
Oh, man.
But, yeah.
COVID messed up a few plans for
COVID messed up a little bit of plans. But that's one thing I want to, say before going in the Coast Guard. It's not, frowned upon with you going into debt, with you having financial issues. It's okay. You can join the Coast Guard and make you money. You could also make side money, side hustle, as long as you put in your taxes and stuff, nothing illegal.
We're keeping it legal over here.
Keeping it legal.
Amen.
And, yeah. It's honestly, do what you want to do first if the Coast Guard's not your first option.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on. Follow your dreams.
Exactly.
Do what you want to do. Yeah. All right. Has there ever been a tough situation where another black lady helped you out, or a situation where you helped out another black lady? Veteran. Another sister in service.
You. So.
Aww.
Yeah.
I'm over here crying. I'm not crying.
You have honestly, with that one situation where I haven't, for some odd reason, my career in the Coast Guard, I have not had the greatest in commands.
Lord. And you've not even been in a full enlistment.
Exactly. I'm 1 year shy. It was about marks. And because I took my name off the A school list and wanted to continue my college education before I went there, because there was talks about me. I was asking, will I be able to do my college courses? They were like, yes. I was like, okay, that's fine. Then I got told, no, you can't. So I was like, okay, I'm going to start my college courses, set myself up. Then when I feel comfortable with go to A school. I also got orders late, like 2 weeks before.
Wow.
And I was like, no thanks. Or probably 3 weeks before the class started. And I was like,
that is not enough time.
Yeah, I felt rushed. I didn't want to do it.
Right.
So I reached out. There was a whole, debate about it with command, this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. And basically, I got to stay where I was at. I started my college courses, did everything right, went above and beyond for performance-wise.
Right on.
At my first unit, marks come around. I get ready to do my marks. For me, fours, I don't believe in fours. I'm sorry. I put all sevens on everything.
Right.
Still till this day.
Right on. You should have some fucking self-esteem about yourself. You don't have to mark yourself low, because once it gets past you, if they feel that you were lower, they'll mark you lower.
Exactly.
Their damn selves.
And the worst someone can say is no, and then they have to justify why they said no.
Bam. Just like that.
So I put myself all sevens. And based off of me being the rank I was, working at the place I was, doing petty officer work as a non-rate, that's immediately, in my eyes, I'm overachieving. I'm doing this, and I continue to do great work. They wanted to mark me low.
Fours. Hold on. Once again, for our listeners, marks are enlisted evaluation review. Thank you. Enlisted evaluation reviews. They're done every 6 months for everybody. The highest you can get is a 7. The lowest you can get is a 1. But anything below a 4 has to be explained. So if you get marked for
a 3,
they
have to explain.
So what we're learning is they knew they had to explain why she got the low ranks or the low marks that she got. They knew they were going to have to explain it, and they did it anyways. Go ahead.
They didn't explain. So I was talking to one of the contractors and you about it. He sent me, because he was prior Air Force, the tongue and quill.
Oh, God.
That whole thing. So I read that.
You read the tongue and quill?
Had to. Had to school myself.
Lord.
And so I read that. And then that's when you and I were talking about it, and you gave me help with it. And I ended up getting my, what's that called?
You argued your marks.
I argued my marks, and I got the marks I wanted.
You got them raised.
Yeah, it got
goddamn right.
Sent up. I had a talk with my entire command and the captain.
This is a win. I love it.
A W in my eyes.
Bam.
So, yeah.
Look, and the reason that I was able to offer any kind of assistance is because I had gone through a similar situation where I had to argue my marks as well.
And I think it's a common occurrence at the place we were at, because no one else would, try to justify their answers for our kind.
Right. To be fair,
common occurrence.
Look, when someone tried to mark me low, there was so much paperwork that I generated. The lowest they tried to mark me was a 4. And that's, once again, because you don't have to explain anything below. She knew she was going to have to explain, why the fuck are you marking me so low? So she got just low enough to not have to explain. I argued anyways. Long story short, I got all my marks raised. I argued all the way to the commandant.
As you should.
Look, if it needs to go that high, fuck it. These are my marks. I'm worth fighting for me.
And don't get me started about marks. How sometimes I feel like it's not really, they don't mean anything, because I'm writing them about myself, and half the time the people, when it's above a chief, no one's there watching me.
Right.
No one's there doing the work. So how are you going to tell me my work effort? How are you going to, tell me my, working ethic,
right.
The quality of work?
Basis.
You see me once every 4 months. You pop your head down where you're not supposed to be, and you see me doing a lot of work, talking to me, distracting me from my workload.
Look, if your first line supervisor says that you deserve 7s, you fucking deserve 7s, because that is the only person that's actually watching you work.
Exactly.
Everybody above them, just agree with the first line supervisor. Stop making shit difficult. But so glad you got your marks raised. I'm glad that that situation worked out for you. That is a win. And honestly, now you know how to make phenomenal marks packages, don't you?
Oh, most definitely. I got told by my I got told by my ensign that I should teach the first
girl
how to write their marks.
Girl.
That's all I'm saying. He did tell me more, but that's all I'm saying.
Look, same. Once you've had to argue your marks, you write the best marks ever. You have like the most phenomenal marks packages.
And people don't even realize all you do is just copy and paste. You copy what a 7 is, you paste it, and then you just add a little he, she, they, their, them, some adverbs,
Look,
nouns, pronouns, subjects.
I write a small autobiography.
Oh, most definitely.
Like the marks. I'm putting in pictures. I'm putting in
my
emails.
most recent marks. My additions page.
Yes.
Like 4 pages. A little slight front and back.
I make my marks. Girl, they so damn thick. Like I turn it in, and my one gets sick.
They do not want to read. They're like, okay, whatever.
I don't want to read this shit. I got pictures. I got emails. I got all kind. I got receipts. All right.
Yeah.
Proving my point.
Always have your receipts because a lot of people would doubt you.
You get tested.
Exactly. The thing is, I always get tested. The most random shit happens to me every day. I kid you not.
It's never ending.
Never ending.
Let's say you were just joining. You were just starting your life on your own right now today, and you were presented with the chance to join the military. Knowing what you know now, would you join?
Knowing what I know, that's hard. Because I know I have potential without the military. Mm-hmm. And I know I have potential in the military. So I'd say no.
No.
Only because my life would be way different. Mm-hmm. I probably wouldn't be as depressed as I am. I probably wouldn't be as, lonely in the aspect of not having people.
No village.
Yeah, no village.
No village,
and stuff.
no sisterhood. Yeah, I got you. You're constantly being put in places where you are one of one.
Yeah, but I also don't want to say don't join the Coast Guard.
I mean,
the Coast Guard, you can.
Like, you can say that.
Everyone has, there's people who had better experiences than myself and then the other people you've interviewed. And, there's, people have different stories. I didn't, I have a different background than majority of the people I meet.
Mm-hmm. And before you joined, you did have options of full scholarship. So are you saying that if you were presented with that same package, that same deal today, and you're fresh out of high school, you would have gone?
Yes,
all right.
Because I feel like
I
would
jumping
be
hurdles right now.
I would be jumping hurdles, but I feel like I'd be happier.
Right on.
Because I also wouldn't have to grow up as much, if that makes any sense. I had to grow up when I was younger. Mm-hmm. And so when I turned like 18, I was like, okay, I kind of don't want to handle all this adulting because I want time for myself. I want time to, be a child and do childish shit.
That makes
instead of having
sense,
to,
yes.
Face the difficulties
of adulthood.
Yeah. So it's kind of like
you did get thrown into adulthood when you joined the military. Yeah.
You get thrown into it, and some people aren't prepared for that. Luckily, I was prepared, but it doesn't mean I want that.
Look, and it's worth noting, you are very, very young, and you joined very young.
Yeah.
And that's the environment that when you are very young and you join the military, you're being thrown into a place that full of adults. Like, these people know what they're doing. They're in their 20s, their 30s. A lot of these people are close to retirement. So you're a very young person working around people that are older than you.
And especially, I want to add into that with being in the Coast Guard. I'm sure it's way different being in any other branch because the Coast Guard is smaller. You are more likely to talk to your senior leadership, almost every day if, your unit's not that big.
If you had gone to college, at least you would have had the opportunity to grow and make stupid childhood mistakes around people your own age. Like,
exactly. And not get frowned upon for it.
You'd be growing and learning with people just like you, your own age, your generation of people. You would be around your people.
Yeah. And that is a big difference with retention too, because majority of the time, people don't want to work with older people because majority of them are depressed. And
and they pass that on.
Yeah, and it really affects you. It affects your work, it affects your home life. Mm-hmm. It affects everything. My job, because
you're young and impressionable.
Yeah. Fuck being young. I'm just kidding. But It's hard.
Yeah. Being around other
adults.
Actual adults, because to me, you are still a child.
Yeah.
Being around actual adults, it forces you to grow up, and you shouldn't have to be forced to do that. You should be allowed to make those young, dumb mistakes.
Yeah. Like going to the club a day before, you know, the same night you go to work. I've done that. You should be able to
go out and have fun. Yeah. You would be going to clubs and then going to probably class the next day.
Exactly. Class the next day.
Instead of going to a job where if you show up hungover, you could lose your whole fucking career and then get dishonorably discharged and have that on your record forever because of something that you did when you were a young, stupid child. And civilians don't have that problem.
They don't. And it's different when I went to the Coast Guard Foundation dinner. And our seats were near like people who have actual careers, actual adults, and listening to what they're saying out their mouth, I'm like, what the hell am I doing in the Coast Guard? I ain't learning shit.
No.
Besides sweeping, cleaning, mopping.
You're learning obedience and how to dodge accusations.
Exactly. And it's like, if I didn't join, that's what I'd be doing. I'd be able to have a sit-down conversation with someone who's not going to sit here and look at me like, oh, you're a petty officer, this, that, and a third. You're so young. You're a child, and look down on you.
Right.
And, like, if I was in college, people would view me as their equal. Partially.
No, you're right. Yeah.
I feel like there's, like, a disconnect. That's why some people are like, civilians, fuck civilians, this, that, and the third. No. In actuality, they have more common sense than we do sometimes.
Look, you're right. They got it good.
They got it lucky. They're not signed away.
One day that will be you again, either because you left or you retired.
Yeah.
Let's say you had a daughter or any young, impressionable black girl in your life that you cared about, and she was considering joining the military. Would you point her in a different direction? Would you try to talk her out of it?
I wouldn't try talking her out of it.
Okay.
I'd point her to people who can give her actual experiences.
Okay.
So I'd give her, because I joined, hypothetically speaking, if that was my daughter, I'd tell her what I've been through. Tell her, express that not everyone's career is the same. So if this is really what you want to do good, put your 110% in it, and you'll see your results.
Right on.
Sometimes you have to fight for what you want. Sometimes, for some people, us African-American women, we have to fight a little harder.
Sometimes you just have to fight because you exist and people don't like that.
Yeah. And I point her to other people, too.
Good.
Like, not only African-American women, but women, men, to, get their experience, too. So she knows this is what she wants to do. She has this option and this option. That wasn't really an option for me.
Right. So you wouldn't push your daughter into the military, but you wouldn't completely sway her.
Yeah.
All right.
In the middle.
Right on.
I'd give you the resources if you want it. If you don't, oh, so be it.
That's what's up.
I mean, but if anyone wants to join, hit me up. I will, help you get into the Coast Guard so I can get that $1,000 bonus. I can promise you, you will be set for your career. Just reach out. Via Outlook. No,
she's
on Instagram.
She's
on Instagram. I'll get you right. Don't worry. I'll get you right. With everything I've been through, I know how to read a contract. I know how to talk to people. I know how to get you some stuff. So just reach out.
She's entering Coast Guard adulthood, so she knows what she's doing now.
Shit. Not even that.
How about this? If you were conducting this interview from where I am sitting, what question would you have asked you that I have not asked you?
Are you happy with the Coast Guard?
IT3, are you happy with Coast Guard?
No.
All right. Please elaborate.
There can be a lot of change. There should be a lot of changes.
All right.
It's, it's up to leadership. But leadership knows. Everyone knows what goes on in the Coast Guard. They turn a blind eye to it.
Indeed.
And that's what makes me not happy with the Coast Guard.
Because people know what's wrong and they're not doing anything
Exactly. About it. And they're stagnant with it. And, they don't care. They only care about themselves. In actuality, if someone says, I care about you and your career, they don't. Because if you put them in a bowl full of sharks and put a little steel plate for them to float on, or not steel, a wood door.
Titanic.
They will push you kick you and leave you to the sharks just so they could,
Right.
sit up on the door and float.
By themselves.
And some people don't care. Some people do care. They have some consideration,
Right.
But majority of the time, no one cares about your career. And that's what I don't like.
That's hard.
Yeah.
That's a lot. If you feel like it's hard to stay motivated if you feel like no one cares.
Yeah. And when they turn the blind eye to it, it's like, okay, you can see that I care about my work. And this is an issue I run into. I give every job I have 110%.
Right on.
If I don't feel like I'm reaching that 110% goal, I'm going to be upset with myself.
Come on, work ethic.
And I would want my leadership to reach out to me and see how we can make things better and actually do it and take action. And that's within every branch. Things that are said and like the surveys we take. Those things,
those command climate surveys.
Those things don't mean shit. They'll pop over at the office once a week just to check up on you, and then after 2 weeks passes, they don't give a shit.
Like it's real cute. It's really just a formality.
Yeah,
they want it to look like they're trying.
Yeah, put it on their marks.
Right. Look, we tried. We sent out a survey where they could say anything they wanted, and we read it. We're not going to do too much, but thank you for your input.
Yeah.
IT3, respectfully request to know, is there anything you would like to leave our audience with?
If you put your mind to it, you can do it.
Oh, come on, motivation.
Exactly. And, still reach out to me if you want to, you want to make some things shake with the whole recruiting thing. I got you.
You really want that $1,000.
Look, I'll even split it in half. I'll give them $500 and I'll keep me a little five piece.
Is it actually up to $1,000?
It's actually, we are struggling.
Girl, we down bad.
We need it.
But before we started recording, IC3 informed me that not only can you go from boot camp to A school for IT training, but also to become the next rank, which would be an E5. You don't even have to test. You just need to put your name on a list. And I think for ITs, oh my God, girl. What?
You still have to get your qualifications first before you do that.
Okay.
Yeah, you still need the prerequisite stuff. But if you already have that stuff done, you can put your name on the list.
This is still a very cute way of getting promoted.
It is.
Just so you know.
Yeah.
Just to sound old, back in my day.
I do not want to take a test.
I don't blame you. I
hate taking tests. I hate sitting down.
I like seeing the new generation have it a little bit easier because it should have never been too hard anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good for y'all. I'm glad y'all are able to move up with ease. I'm only a wee bit jealous, but just
a little bit.
Just a wee bit. It's mostly happy for you, and it's a wee bit of jealousy. On that note, IT3, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for doing this. It was an absolute pleasure seeing you again, talking to you again, getting corrected on how ashy you actually are.
Yeah, it's embarrassing, bro. That's why I got long socks on today.
Good for you.
Hide the ankles.
Good. Don't let nobody see that, girl.
Yeah. When I tell you,
they look like baby powder. I'm sure.
My knees look like baby powder.
Lord have mercy. Thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah. Hey, look. Bye. And that concludes another episode of the Seasoned Vet Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning into the show, and a special thank you to IT3 for making this interview possible. Now, if you are or know a Black lady veteran who would like to sit down with me and be a part of the show, please email me at seasonedvetpodcast@gmail.com, or you can call or text message me at 713-254-0970. You can also find, follow, and inbox me, the Seasoned Vet, across all platforms of social media. At Real Seasoned Vet on Twitter, at Seasoned Vet Podcast on Instagram, at Seasoned Vet Podcast on TikTok, at Seasoned Vet on YouTube, Seasoned Vet on Facebook. Y'all, I'm so out there, I'm even on Spoutable. That's at the Seasoned Vet on Spoutable. Now, if you like what you heard, please like it, share it, rate it, and leave a good review on whatever platform you're listening to this on. And if you're listening to this episode on the day that it drops, then you already know what today is. That's right. Happy Independence Day to our sisters and brothers of the Bahamas. Congratulations on 50 years of independence and freedom. Thank you again for tuning in. And until next time, fall out.